Welcome to the movie Speeching. Spoilers ahead, watch out and take good care. Alien 3 is the name of the movie. After escaping a planet with an alien nest, the spacecraft Silico drifts through area even as its group is frozen in hypersleep. Regrettably, there's a stowaway alien egg at the ship that quickly hatches and causes an electrical fire. Whilst the alien attaches itself to one of the crew contributors, the automated structures send all of the cryotubes into an getaway pod and eject it into outer area. The car's navigation machine takes it to the nearest planet called Fiorina 161, an all-male penal colony populated via only the maximum risky criminals and owned by the same employer behind the deliver. The inmates discover the pod and discover Ripley is still alive, in order that they take her to the infirmary. Physician Clemens looks after her and offers her an injection that allows her with the ache. He also stocks awful news. She's the handiest survivor from the crash. The opposite two human beings died and the android was broken past restore. Meanwhile, the inmates use a crane to take the destroyed ship into the building. Their dog Spike takes the risk to appearance interior and starts off evolved barking when he sees the alien, which has gone disregarded by the locals. In a while, Warden Andrews declares to the prisoners that they now have a female in the constructing. A few of the men point out this can bring trouble, but Andrew assures them he's already talked to the Enterprise and asked for a rescue ship. Ripley is left beneath the care of Clemens with strict orders of no longer leaving the infirmary until the ship comes for her. In the meantime, Murphy checks on Spike and is shocked to see the negative canine has a group of wounds on his head, which is odd due to the fact none of the prisoners could dare harm him. Once Ripley is feeling higher, she needs to see the wreckage, so Clemens takes her there while explaining how every person died. The little woman died in her sleep, but Ripley notices a sizzling mark on the aspect of the cryotube. Remembering the extraterrestrial beings have acid for blood, she gets suspicious and asks to see the girl's body. Next they go to the morgue and Ripley starts examining the little girl's body, wanting to make certain she doesn't have an alien interior. Then she needs an autopsy under the excuse of a likely contamination, so a suspicious Clemens opens the body up. To Ripley's comfort, the female did die of drowning and there aren't any signs of alien lifestyles. At that second, Andrews comes in and scolds Ripley for leaving the infirmary. However, Ripley distracts him by asking him to burn our bodies using the contamination excuse. Moments later, the bodies from the ship are cremated and inmate Dylan offers a completely heartfelt eulogy. On the same time, in every other room, Spike starts off evolved convulsing and explodes as an alien comes out of his frame to then run and disguise someplace in the constructing. In a while, Ripley washes up and shaves her head as its prison coverage. Then she is going to the mess corridor and tries to thank Dylan for his eulogy, but Dylan warns her not to befriend him because he's completed horrible matters to ladies in the past. Ripley sits down and has lunch with him besides. Later, Ripley asks Clemens how he ended up being a prison doctor and if he committed a criminal offense due to the fact he also has a barcode on his skin just like the inmates. Clemens dodges the question and in return asks approximately the actual motive for the post-mortem. To distract him, Ripley flirts with him and that they turn out to be doing the Grammy. Within the period in between, Murphy is working in an isolated tunnel while he finds a shed pores and skin. All of a sudden he hears a noise and thinks it's Spike. However, when he takes a better appearance, he's bowled over to look the alien. The creature assaults by throwing acid at his face, causing Murphy to stumble lower back and fall into a significant fan that straight away destroys him. Soon Clemens is known as to investigate Murphy's remains. Andrews thinks Murphy changed into distracted and got here too close to the sucking fan, but Clemens concludes that the fan was blowing in Murphy's direction. He additionally unearths a burn mark just like the one Ripley noticed on the hypersleep pod. Looking answers, Clemens goes looking for Ripley and reveals her looking the ship wreckage for the FRE light recorder. While he tells her about Murphy, Ripley starts off evolved to suspect there's an alien around and Clemens demands to listen the whole tale, but earlier than sharing that data, Ripley wants to recover the remains of the android. Clemens tells her to visit the garbage unload, but he can't escort her due to the fact he has a meeting with Andrews. Whilst Clemens meets with Andrews, he right now gets scolded for letting Ripley wander alone. He additionally shares that they've obtained excessive stage verbal exchange from the employer regarding Ripley, who reputedly is extraordinarily important for the higher-ups, but Andrews doesn't understand why. An argument ensues on how to proceed and Andrews tells Clemens to behave or he'll inform Ripley approximately his dark beyond. In the meantime, Boggs, Raines, and Galactic are on a survey undertaking that has them putting candles to degree various tunnels and rooms in the building, but a few candles within the distance keep getting blown out. Assuming it's the wind, Raines goes to them handiest to locate the now absolutely grown alien, which grabs Raines and starts off evolved biting him. Boggs and Galactic listen screaming and run to test on their pal. However, as soon as they see the creature, they run back to the entrance. There they locate Raines' lifeless frame. Abruptly, Boggs is attacked attacked from above by way of the alien, which rips out his throat. The blood sprays on Galactic, who after a second of frozen shock runs away in panic. Back to Ripley, she searches the rubbish cell off and reveals the remains of the android. While she attempts to depart, she's cornered with the aid of 3 prisoners, who quickly jump on her and bend her over, intending to take benefit of her. At that moment, Dylan comes in and beats the inmates up with a piece of metal, threatening to re-educate them. Earlier than leaving, Ripley punches one among her attackers in the face. In a while, Ripley connects what is left of the android to an electricity supply within the infirmary and reactivates him. The usage of the android's machine, she accesses the Delivers Free Ignite recorder and learns that a hearth induced their ejection from the ship and an alien traveled with them when they escaped the planet. This information has been shared with the community, so the company is aware of approximately it. The android is in wonderful pain and asks for mercy, so Ripley completely disconnects him. At that moment, Galactic is dragged into the infirmary as he swears that he didn't kill anybody, a dragon did. Andrews and the others disregard him as insane, but Dylan defends him, saying that Galactic has by no means been a liar. Ripley overhears everything and comes out to verify the story. However, Andrews is still skeptical. They become having a meeting in his workplace, and Ripley stocks the whole lot she is aware of about the extraterrestrial beings. Alas, Andrews reveals that other than some knives and fire axes, there aren't any guns in the jail. He additionally confines her to the infirmary until the rescue ship arrives, nevertheless not believing her story. Later in the infirmary, Ripley isn't feeling properly and Clemens gives him every other injection. Galactic hears him and says he'll additionally die soon. To distract her, Clemens eventually admits that he used to be a prisoner too, sentenced after a medicinal drug dependency induced him to take a terrible medical selection and several deaths. When the prison was turned into a lead protective manufacturing facility and the populace reduced, he decided to stay with the inmates, understanding no one else could rent him as a health practitioner ever once more. Suddenly a shadow appears behind the curtain and the alien Famous itself, killing Clemens in seconds. Then it procedures Ripley and corners her against the wall. However, after taking a near appearance, the alien steps back and leaves through the ceiling, taking Clemens' frame with it. Ripley rushes to the mess hall, wherein Andrews is trying to shape a search birthday party for Boggs and Raines. She tells them the alien is here and Andrews doesn't agree with her. However, when he tries to shut her up, he's snatched from above through the alien, leaving the vent dripping with blood afterwards. After some initial panic, the prisoners acquire inside the meeting place and argue over who have to take over as a pace setter. Ripley interrupts them to tell them what she is aware of approximately the extraterrestrial beings, although this one moves a bit in another way. The dearth of guns or a surveillance system makes planning hard and Morse gets livid, blaming Ripley for bringing the alien to the jail. Dylan shuts him up and the organization has the same opinion to pay attention her out. Ripley asks for a floor plan and notices a massive system of tunnels plus a toxic waste containment unit that can be completely sealed off. There also are barrels of quite flammable material behind a thick metallic door. They decide to apply that cloth to burn the alien out of the tunnels and force it into the containment unit to entice it indefinitely. Soon the inmates begin making arrangements by mopping the tunnel with the fuel. In addition, they look for operating batteries for the flasher ignite, a good way to provide the signal. Smoking is forbidden due to the fact even a small spark can cause an explosion. Whilst they work in the tunnels, they find regions with holes resulting from the alien's acid. One of the inmates is taking a ladder and accidentally drops his flare, but he retrieves it earlier than it is able to cause a twist of fate. Unluckily, this distraction offers the alien the chance to attack him through wonder. The flare falls and ignites the gasoline, inflicting a massive explosion that starts off a valve of fire and kills numerous prisoners. A few guys try to run away, however the flames get on them besides and burn them down. Ripley and Dylan shop as many human beings as they are able to, and sooner or later a person manages to start the sprinklers, but despite the fact that the fire is long gone now, the group is significantly smaller. In a while the survivors flow via the tunnels to acquire the R bodies. Even as the prisoners argue over what to do, Ripley starts feeling sick, so she goes return to the Rick Deliver to apply the biomedical scanner. Aaron allows her cope with the system, and after a quick scan, they're stunned to find out Ripley became impregnated via the alien. This explains why the alien didn't attack her, it's defensive its offspring. Then Ripley asks Aaron to send a message to the organization, declaring that the complete base has gone poisonous and they ought to stay away. Aaron is pressured due to the fact the rescue ship is their best desire, so Ripley explains that the organization will take the alien to Earth to make weapons. When Aaron refuses to ship the message, Ripley furiously shakes him, but she doesn't exchange his thoughts and comes to a decision to depart to look for the alien. At that moment Aaron receives a message from the rescue ship pronouncing they'll arrive in 2 hours and that the best priority is to maintain Ripley quarantined. With a flashlight in hand, Ripley seems for the alien via dark corridors, following any bizarre noises. When she ultimately sees the creature, she assaults it with a rod, only to discover she mistook a rusty pipe for the alien's head and the noise got here from the bugs in her. Abruptly, the alien appears proper at the back of Ripley. Moments later, Dylan is startled through a presence, but it's just Ripley. She explains she looked for the alien and didn't assault her due to her being pregnant. She additionally realizes that the shape she noticed at the scan is a queen. That means her alien toddler can make hundreds greater. Ripley asks Dylan to end things for her when you consider that she won't live on the birth anyway, so Dylan receives equipped to kill her. However, on the final 2D, he adjusts his mind and points out that Ripley's immunity may be used to their advantage. Ripley is of the same opinion to combat, however, makes Dylan promise he'll give up matters once they defeat the alien. Afterward, Dylan gathers the inmates and Ripley explains the agency thought her antique crew or even Marines were expendable, so the chance they'll permit criminals live is zero. Absolutely everyone has the same opinion to combat and come up with a plan. A few guys will serve as bait and guide the alien to the corridors of the lead works, blast off all of the entrances till the alien is pressured into the mold. Even as anyone receives the doorways and switches geared up, Aaron sneaks away. Dylan explains to Ripley the structure is antique and hasn't been used for 5 years, so some parts may also now not paintings. This means they most effective have one risk to do this right. Morse attempts to close the remaining door, but it isn't working, and shortly the alien assaults an inmate to kill him. Every other prisoner sees this and gets the creature's attention to trigger the chase. As they run via the corridors, the others close the doorways to pressure the alien into the right course. But the maze-like layout of the place confuses each person, and they aren't positive what doors to shut anymore, now not to mention the alien breaking the window if considered one of them. After they lose music of the creature, an inmate is going looking for it and receives its interest once more with a flare. The chase restarts, and although they preserve on ultimate doorways, extra guys get killed. A guy panics and nearly turns on the piston too quickly, but Ripley stops him simply in time. Outside, the ship with the company people sooner or later lands, and Aaron receives them, telling them that Ripley is inside the furnace location. The group makes their manor internal while carrying a huge metal cage. Then Dylan enters the tunnels and unearths the alien killing some other prisoner, so he drags the frame far from the creature's clutches and drops him near the mold as bait. The alien comes nearer and a prisoner turns on the piston. However, the alien realizes it's an entice and drags the frame lower back into the tunnels without moving into the mold. Now they have 5 minutes to bait the alien again earlier than the piston shuts the mold off. The group runs via the corridors in exceptional guidelines, searching for the alien. At the same time as Ripley continues on finding our bodies, an inmate runs as speedy as he can, most effective for the alien to grab and kill him before he can input the mold. In another corridor, Morse bumps into a prisoner and that they both fall. Whilst they snigger on the fake scare, the alien uses the risk to kill the other guy. Morse actions far from the alien while Ripley arrives with a flare and starts off evolved suffering with the alien, seeking to pressure it to assault her. At that moment, Dylan arrives and drags her away as she screams, so the alien follows them to shield its offspring. This eventually makes the creature input the mildew and Morse closes the door to trap it. Whilst Morse runs to the lead platform, Ripley attempts to live inside the mildew too. However, Dylan pulls her away and guarantees to kill her later. The duo starts to climb out, handiest to note the alien is following them, so Dylan makes a decision to stay in the mold to keep the alien there. Even as the alien assaults Dylan, Ripley climbs out and tells Morse to pour the new lead into the mold, completely covering both the alien and Dylan. Wondering it's in the end over, Morse celebrates, but the alien comes out of the mildew and starts chasing after Ripley. She starts off evolved hiking a series of chains, but the alien climbs after her at incredible speed. At that second, Morse shouts to Ripley to remind her of the sprinkler gadget, so she jumps to prompt it. The water falls on the alien and the unexpected cooling causes cracks all over its body till it in the end explodes. Then Ripley joins Morse on the platform, only to be surrounded through Aaron and the corporation personnel. To Ripley's shock, she will see the equal android from her remaining group, but this man is sincerely human and the dressmaker that gave the androids his face. He swears they'll wreck the fetus after getting rid of it from Ripley's body, but she doesn't agree with him and closes the fence between the platform and the group. Morse tries to transport away, but one of the guard's infantrymen without delay shoots him in the leg. Seeing Ripley become right, Aaron hits the designer inside the again with a pipe, inflicting the soldiers to shoot him and kill him. Meanwhile, Ripley asks Morse to help her one last time, and he moves the platform over the boiling furnace. Determined to stop all of it, Ripley falls off the platform. At that moment, the alien bursts out of her chest, but Ripley holds tightly onto it, and they each die as quickly as they land within the flames. In the long run, the scientists bandage Morse and take him with them. Within the wreckage of the Deliver, Ripley's recording from her first journey may be heard saying she's the remaining survivor. Subscribe to watch more videos like this, leave a comment about your favorite movie, and we will make it next. Thanks for watching.